It's time for Fort Worth Musical Moments. Join us now as Steve Markward takes a look at the music and the artists who made the city's vibrant musical legacy what it is today. Yes, indeed. It's time. And here we are. Another Fort Worth Musical Moments. It's Friday. And I'm here with Steve Markwart. And Steve, we have been talking about National Hall for as long as we've been doing the show, pretty much. Things are moving forward. And today we've got a special guest to kind of fill us in on all things National Hall.
Well, we're trying to literally take National Hall national, or international, I should say, because I know we have some international viewers as well. So yes, we've been hearing us talk about National Hall. It's in there. It's a picture of it's in our intro. So if any of y'all are curious about it, then we're about to pull the veil back a little bit, give you a little more insight on what National Hall is about. And no better authority on National Hall to have than I'm not sure what your title is, but you're the main man, the general manager, the gatekeeper, but his name is Jon Durham, and we have Jon right here at National Hall from Fort Worth, Texas on our show. So welcome, Jon. Well,
Jon, you got us? Uh-oh. No,
we had him.
We had him. We spent 15 minutes talking to him until it was time to go live. He can't hear us for some reason. We will try to rectify that as quickly as we can here.
Yeah, he knows to. Jon, can you hear us?
Okay. Well, in the meantime, while he's trying to get that sorted out here, we're going to tell you a little bit about National Hall, which is part of the SPJST, which is the Slovanska Podporojici Jednota Společnost. I've been working on that.
Wow.
Founded in 1897, and Lodge 92 in Fort Worth was established in 1910 in the basement of its founders here in response to the influx of Czech families who immigrated to the area to work for the Armour and Swift meat packing plants. So there's your connection with agriculture and food there. Today, roughly 38,000 SPJST members who belong to one of 102 lodges throughout Texas. And a fast fact about the organization: in 2021, the most recent year for which we have any kind of data, the SPJST members contributed more than 50,000 hours and $250,000 to charitable causes and programs helping local communities. So they do a tremendous amount of work in their communities. And I am going to drop a couple links in the comments section to I'll give you a little bit of history on SPJST and also on National Hall, so you can kind of look at that for yourself. Do it on your own time. Hey, make sure you're listening here because we're going to have some fun. But Steve, a really cool organization that you've gotten to know pretty well here as you guys have worked through the details of this partnership.
Yes, and as a native Fort Worthian, I mean, I've lived here most of my life. Moved here when I was 8 years old, and thought I knew every nook and cranny of Fort Worth. But this one got by me until a few years ago when my brother Mike, who does the puts on the Birthplace of Western Swing Festival, he had his inaugural festival a couple of years ago. He was getting ready for that and took me over there, and I was blown away. I thought I never knew this place was even here. And a lot of other people have kind of told me the same thing, but I fell in love with that hall real quickly. There's it's a historical place. The ambiance there is great. It's got a beautiful, big, gigantic dance floor and really cool stage, and it's a real family-friendly place as well. They do have a full bar there. For those that like to indulge in that. And then Jon himself cooks fantastic barbecue and all kinds of other like Czech and Polish food and things like that. And so it's just a great place for events. And so real quickly, as I started, my music career started to gain momentum, I thought, well, instead of playing the nightclubs and beat my head against that wall, because I'm a little too old to be playing until 2 in the morning and then having to tear down, I thought, wouldn't it be nice to kind of control the environment and use this place as a kind of a focal point. And so I launched my my first album done with Clarksville Creative Sound. Kurt Ryle wanted to do a special CD release party, so we used the hall, and it was just a beautiful event. And so from there on out, I was hooked. And so we've been working with Jon and board to make that kind of a regular home base for Clarksville Creative Sound.
So, Jon, can you hear us now?
I got you now. Sorry
there
about
we
that.
go. No problems at all.
I'm-
We're glad to have you. Glad you're back online. And as we were talking about, National Hall dates back to 1938, and your family has ties from the hall coming out of the ground.
The very beginning. It sure does. 1938, it was finished, and it was built by Czech immigrants, volunteers, and one of them was my grandpa. So we've been here all these years, and it's been a really neat situation for me. I've been the manager of the hall for the last 10 years, and so it's been a blessing for me. It's a family atmosphere. Our members all know each other, and they all come around at least once a year. We have a big Heritage Day every September, and we have a couple of polka bands, and we do all of our food and just have a big day of it. But we're really excited about having Steve and his group. We've been very successful with his brother Mike with the Western Swing Festival the last couple of years. It's been just amazing, and we hoping to expand on that with Steve coming in and doing his more personal, being part of the family is what I'm feeling like it's going to be, and it's going to be really nice for us. And we have quite a history here. We've had Bob Wills was here back in the 60s. We've had Ernest Tubb came through here. We've had all kinds of guys. Recently, we've had others, Gary P. Nunn and others. But we definitely love our music around here, and this is going to work perfectly for us.
And just as Western swing is kind of an amalgamation of different genres of music, you kind of represent that there too, because you have a lot of different types of people come in there to perform. From I think you have polka nights and things like that, and then you regularly have a group called Latin Express. So you have the Tejano flair there, which I'm really intrigued with. I'm determined to do a concert and bring Latin Express in, and us kind of collide together, see what we come up with. That would be fun. But
they are an amazing group. Their dad used to have the band. Now the sons have it for the last 25 or 30 years after the dad went. But they are part of the family. There's no question about it. They've been playing here New Year's Eve. We have them 3 or 4 times during the year. They always fill it up, and everybody has a big time. And we really enjoy their music and their company, really.
And when you guys aren't doing that, I understand there's a flurry of activity just today because you got wedding there, quinceañeras, a lot going on to keep the place active.
That's correct. That's how we keep the lights on here. We rent the hall out for private parties. Tonight we're having a wedding. Tomorrow we're having a quinceañera. Every weekend is every Saturday is full. We have a lot of Fridays. We're gonna hopefully do this with Steve and his group on Fridays, and then we're gonna fill in some Saturdays also. We haven't nailed every date down yet, but very busy around here. We're very blessed. After the pandemic went through here, of course the government kind of limited our capacity for a while, and things were slow, but we have made a huge comeback, and we're in really good shape and proud of where we're at.
Some people may find this interesting, especially if you don't live in Texas. If you live in Texas, you're kind of used to the
Uh-oh. I was interested to see where he was going with that, Jon.
Yeah.
Sorry, somebody was trying to call me. I forgot to turn my ringer off.
Now, who doesn't know that you're occupied at this time every Friday? Shame on them.
People don't care. They don't care when they, instant gratification. Anyway, what I was saying is, if you live outside of Texas and you have more lax laws around liquor sales and things like that, you might find this interesting. I always find it interesting living here in Texas with the liquor laws. But you actually, your bar is in one city and your dance hall's in another. So you got a dividing line between Lake Worth and Sansom Park, right?
That's correct. When the building was built in 1938, it was unincorporated. There was nothing around us. And since then, Lake Worth, I think Sansom Park was actually first. They started theirs, and then Lake Worth started their city. Well, it ends up right down the middle of our hall is Lake Worth one side and Sansom Park's the other. But where the cash register sits is in Sansom Park, so they get most of the goodie.
So you could just move that cash register from over the line just back and forth and spread the word.
Depending on the rates, we move that cash register around a little bit. No, I'm just joking.
No, both cities considered wet?
Yeah, that's a good question. I believe they are, yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I just remember especially when I was younger, there are parts of Texas where you could, I think Lubbock, you didn't go to Texas Tech, or did you?
I'm a Red Raider. Yes, I am.
So Lubbock was funny about that because the town of Lubbock was dry, but then you just traveled out that highway and all of a sudden you had a plethora of neon signs right across that border, and there was very busy liquor stores out there and bars.
You had to go down to the Strip, down to Pinky's or the Cellar or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I found that interesting, but yeah, so lots of really great history at that hall. Like you said, Bob Wills played there probably numerous times, I would think, and so many, and Ernest Tubb, and just a lot of history in that hall. And I feel the good juju there when I'm there, and that's why one of the reasons why we love that hall, and always felt very, very, very good playing there.
Well, the Light Crust Doughboys and all of that, when Bob started, is right here in Saginaw is where all that was started, and it's only about 2 miles from here where that actually started taking place there. So
yeah,
but part of that film of Mike's, another great thing that y'all bring in here is really good at telling that story.
Well, you talked about the history of it, but how exciting is it to be able to perpetuate this and start to look to the future, knowing that there is a new generation of musicians who have embraced this and are looking to carry it forward?
It's huge. It's really huge for us. I'm not sure all the members have really grasped it, like wrapped their arms around it like I have yet, but they have approved everything. And to do this is, I think it's fabulous. It's going to bring a whole new group in here. It's going to be so much more exposure. The way Steve's going about things is really really nice for us, and we're very, very excited about it.
Well, you mentioned the Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing Festival, which is going to be coming up in November. What have you learned from past years' events there that you will use to build on for this year's? Because I know there's a lot of people that have circled that those November dates on their calendar.
Well, they've circled that for sure, and they just, we're loaded whenever that festival comes around, and I don't know if there's any tickets even left. There may be a few, but they get sold out very quickly. But one of the already we've seen since the very first one a couple of years ago, we have a country and Western dance every month here. And we get people coming back to that first started with the festival. And we can see how it's going to take form and it's going to really do well for this hall.
Brent, your question on the ticket sales, I was last night, and I I remember, I may be misquoting him, but I think he told me there's like 9 reserve seat tickets left, literally, and then there's probably 20 or so general admission seats, which kind of around the wall, outside wall, so just to get you in the door. So it's close to being sold out, and we're still a good ways away from November. Of course, that comes up quick.
Right.
The older I get, the faster time flies. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And the headliner this year on the final day is going to be Drake Milligan, who's become kind of a big deal, a Fort Worth guy. And I wanted to share this a little video clip for anybody who didn't get a chance to see it as it was circulating around social media here a couple weeks ago.
Hey, all, this is Drake Milligan. Me and the band are going to be playing at the Cowtown, birthplace of Western Swing Music Festival in Fort Worth, my hometown, on Saturday, November 11th. Hope to see y'all there.
So yeah, Drake Milligan, that'll be a big deal.
Yeah, he's a big deal, all right.
And you put that with just a whole host of great Western swing music over the course of that. This thing is not to be missed.
You didn't show my little promo clip of me playing balls.
Well, I got to spread them out. We got a ways to go here. So
okay.
You're here in front of us.
Well, yeah. But you want me to pull out my guitar? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's one area I need a lot of work with. In fact, I'm going to go back up and spend about a week just woodshedding with trial on my guitar skills. But yeah, it's going to be great 3 days at on the festival in November. I mean, there's 12 bands. We've got the premier Western swing bands, including, and I like to put my band in A-list band when those, that is an A-list group of players there. And so when those guys hit the stage, it's a show, and we've got some of great artists from Clarksville Creative Sound going to join me on stage. We've got Kerry Romero, Eric Diamond, Mackenzie McKetty, and who knows who else may show up. We got a few probably surprise guests that'll come up, and some of the other bands that we're real friendly with, like Robert Houston and Western Swing Rules. We'll probably have Robert come up and do a few songs with us, and I'll probably get up and do a few songs with his band. It's everybody's friendly with each other, and we like to kind of mix and mingle. So you never know. I did want to, not to be a downer, but I wanted to share a little bit of news that we got a couple of days ago. My band leader, Shane McCauley, my drummer, who's very, very close friends with Louise Rowe, informed me that Louise had a stroke. And she's, we're not sure how severe it is, but we're praying for her and her recovery. We've had her join us on stage a couple of times, playing there at National Hall, and that's such a memorable thing. And just to have her up there, because she could still, boy, she took that stand-up bass and just kind of stole the show. And she's, for those of y'all that don't know Louise, she's the only female musician band member of Bob Wills' Texas Playboys. So,
and absolutely owned the room when she played.
Oh yeah, and then Lucy Dean Record, 96 years old, can still pound those ivories, and she got up there and played a few songs with us. And so you never know who might meander. We've had the great Paul Anastasio, the fiddle player who played with Merle Haggard for years, and Floyd Domino, I think, maybe joining Robert Houston's group. And so you never know. You never know who's gonna show up there and who we can pull on. So.
Well, it's going to be a big time, and we're definitely looking forward to that. John, what else do you have here in the near future at National Hall?
Well, we're in the middle of our big season here as far as private parties. We're kind of loaded up. We do have our Heritage Day coming up in September. It's the third Saturday in September 16th. It's open to the public, and we'd love to have people come in and see our heritage, see our cultures, and see what we do as far as food and music. We have a big time. We have cakewalks and food and all of it. And this year we have a group that are kind of our main dance here is the Bessada, and there's going to be a group performing that. They're going to have 4 or 5 groups of 8 out on the dance floor performing that, and it's really a cool deal. Other than that, we have a monthly country and western dance. We do have another Czech event that we have. It's the first Saturday in August. I believe it's the 5th or the 6th. It's a tarot. It's a card game. It's called tarot. It's a Czech card game, and we have the whole dance floor is full of tables, and everybody's playing cards, and they get down to a winners, and it's a big deal for us. And that's also open to the public if you're interested in learning how to play a Czech card game, tarot.
Oh, there you go, Stephen. All your free time.
Yeah. Another thing I really love about National Hall too is you've got a lot of great land, huge parking lot around the hall. Here, a lot of our festival goers are so they'll go from one festival to another. There's ample more. So it kind of becomes a festival inside and outside around the hall, and that's another reason why we love it. There's no other place for work that offers all the free parking like that and that space for RVs. So why we really love that, both for the Birthplace Western Swing Festival and going to be doing Clarksville Creative.
Yeah, we've got 7 acres total here, and we've got a lot of room for, like he said, the RVs, and the parking is really nice. So,
and there's at least half a dozen really, good hotels like Holiday Inn Express and Hampton Inn and La Quinta, nice hotels within a 2 or 3 mile radius too.
And they do, and they also give us a discount if the folks mention National Hall that they're going to be there, then they'll give them a discount to be here. The city works really well with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty important because I know a lot of people will be coming in not only from across the state, but from all over the country for this thing here. So, yeah, make sure you're checking that out. Getting on and checking out all the local cuisine there, and prepare for a big time.
Yeah, we've got quite a few international people coming in for that too. We get people from Germany, England. I think a few, some came in last year from Japan. You never know. It's kind of become an international affair to an extent. And so, as you know, a lot of people across the pond love our kind of music.
So the next step will be intergalactic, I guess, huh?
Intergalactic, yes. Come to a space station near you, right?
Growing by leaps and bounds. We just can't control it.
I know it. No, and so some of our music is otherworldly, I think. But no. And so, do we want to talk about the Clarksville Creative Sound plan, or do we have John take on a tour of the hall? What do you think?
Well, I think we ought to do both here. While we've got a chance, let's, John, if you have time to give us the nickel tour of National Hall, I think we'd love to see it.
I'm going to show you. We've got a group in here preparing for tonight. So you're going to see some activity there, but I'm going to take you on a little tour.
All right.
If you don't mind. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Starting here, this is our bar area.
Show that picture right there, John. There's a picture of Bob Wills playing.
Bob, yeah. Bill Mack to the right, Bob in the middle.
There's
our kitchen area. There's a little quick tour. They're in here working.
So that's those lights are the initials of the people married, I presume.
Correct. That's correct.
Well, that's really neat. Yeah, it's a beautiful hall. Jon, how many with a full size dance floor? How many people can you seat in there?
We've got 495. We can seat 500 and still have the large dance floor.
Yeah, and if you were to do like theater seating, you could probably
yeah.
Twice. Yeah.
We can get up to 1,000 if you fill up the dance floor.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Brent, welcome back.
Hey, thank you. No, I was just sitting back enjoying the tour.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That was a brief tour. The guys are out there working, so I gave you a little brief tour.
And congratulations to the lucky couple there.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Those lights by the stage remind me of what Paul Gonzalez did for the festival. He made those Cowtown letters. That was pretty neat.
Yeah.
I think we got a picture of that there. There you go.
Yeah.
Always works well with the with that stage setup, doesn't it?
Yeah. Steve was talking about the sound system that, in conjunction with us, we're putting in a sound system. Steve is, and he's also putting in some lighting, and it's going to add quite a bit to this to the hall here.
Yeah, we figured it was time for. I mean, when we pinpointed National Hall as a place we wanted to do some regular performances at, kind of make that a home base performance-wise for Fort Worth, and we brought in a guy, Bill Johnson, who's ran our sound for us at the festival numerous times and knows the hall real well. Probably worked with you, Jon, on a few other deals. I'm not sure, but anyway, he took the scientific approach, measured the hall, and did studies, and he built a sound system specifically for that hall. We can't wait to get that in there. It's going to be fabulous. And then, yeah, we're installing a bar of stage lights that'll be able to be, controllable as well. So it'll add to the whole effect on stage. So we're real excited about that. And the lighting, I think, is going to be installed, or at least they're going to begin working on that on Wednesday of this week. And then the sound equipment, I think, will be in mid-August, and so shortly after that, he'll get to work on installing all of that equipment. It'll be state of the art, and then we can't wait to start putting on regular concerts there. And we've got some really really big plans and all kinds of neat things that we want to do. Feature National Hall in the midst of all that.
We're proud to have you. Very proud to have you. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, there's a lot to like about what's going on here, and Steve, tell me a little bit about what else is going on here. I know we talk a little bit about it every week here, but we've got this build up here with Clarksville Creative Sound, and as we mentioned on last week's show, you guys were in the Smoky Mountains last week, kind of pulling things together here. What else is on the radar here?
Well, a lot of exciting things going on, and I don't want to give too much away on some of these things because, as you know, until everything's on the dotted line, a lot can happen. But we feel very, very secure and at least saying that. Well, first of all, let me just digress a little bit. We have been working with a group to put on a tour, because one of the things we've been working on is looking for more opportunities to give our artists under our Clarksville Creative Sound label umbrella more chances to get out there and perform live. Everyone, including myself, are chomping at the bit to get out there and share our music. We've been concentrating mainly on studio work, and we've got a lot of great. Of course, Kurt Ryle's been working overtime. He's produced I don't know how many albums in the last 6 months, and most of them. In fact, if you look at most independent music charts, our artists pretty much dominate those charts. It's pretty amazing. And so now it's time to take that music out there live, and that's what we're focusing on. So we're working with a group that's going to mount a tour for us for the Clarksville Creative Sound stable of artists all along Route 66, which is going to be an interesting deal. The 66 Kicks tour. A guy named Sam Kicks is putting that together. And so that's going to be neat. Of course, Route 66 runs from Chicago all the way to LA, goes through northern Oklahoma, Tulsa, then Oklahoma City, and then on to Albuquerque and so on. But we're definitely going to take a little detour down to Fort Worth on that tour, bring some of our members of that tour down to Fort Worth to do a stop at National Hall. And the cool thing about that tour is everything we do is going to be live streamed on high definition, 4K high definition. So that's another thing we're going to do, John. Is there anything we do in there? It's going to go way beyond the brick and mortar of those walls and out to, hundreds of thousands of people. And so when I told John, when we first embarked upon this project, I said, we want to put this place on the map. And I really believe we're going to. And then something a little bit to further even that, icing on the cake, so to speak, what Kurt and I have been working on in Tennessee is with a group of guys that's about to launch their own network. And these guys are big players in that realm. And so it's going to be a substantial presence and with a lot of viewers. I mean, we're talking about millions of viewers potentially in a very short amount of time. And we're working on our own TV show on that network. And so a lot of that will involve filming on location, including National Hall and on this 66 tour. So it all kind of fits together. We're real excited about that. We're in the early stages of getting our documents done on the show and then working out the exact format of how this show is going to flow. But we've got an opportunity through all of our contacts to bring in some really big names. And, what we're thinking is name person along with an independent artist on the same stage. And so we're real excited about that. And I've probably given too much away already, but I think it's safe to say that that be going to give our artists a lot of exposure, and it's going to give National Hall, of course, a lot of exposure, much deserved.
Now it's time to just go make it happen, right?
Just make it happen, yeah. And we've got some great people in our corner. People, the network are excited about this, and we're working with Steve Oliver, who we had on our show a few weeks ago, and Nikki Nelson. Nikki's the lead singer of Highway 101, and we've spent a lot of time with them while I was up in Tennessee, and they're very excited. And so Steve's even got a big, beautiful Prevost tour bus that he's going to let us use. So that's even more icing on the cake. And we'll probably have that thing parked out back during the festival.
Yes, sir.
Well, Steve, as you think about it, the opportunities have to look like this coming at you right now, because it's just an incredible time.
Well, Brent, that's kind of the vision I have. That's kind of what goes on in my head all the time.
I figured.
You mix that in with a lot of different voices, that's pretty much my inner world.
I can fully relate. Well, I know John's time is precious here, and he's got a lot to do, so we don't want to hold him up here. But again, John, we want to make sure we make mention of your website here so folks can check you out. Where can they check you out? I know you're on Facebook as well.
Janae, I want to introduce you right.
Oh.
NationalHallFortWorth.com. I was going to introduce you to
National Hall FWTX.com. There we go.
There you go. FWTX. NationalFWTX.com. Thank you.
And also you can check them out on Facebook here, and make sure that you stay plugged into everything going on with National Hall, because those announcements are going to come pretty quickly here in the latter stages of the year and early into next year as things start to mount up here. So,
John, the address there at National Hall is
3316 Roberts Cutoff Road.
Yeah, for those of y'all here in Fort Worth, if you're inclined, go by. If you haven't ever been to National Hall, drive by there and take a look. It's a building that kind of looks like a brick version of the Alamo. It's pretty cool building.
We've done some substantial renovation in the last 5 or 6 years, and we're very proud of the hall and the way we're just thrilled to have Steve in and thrilled to have this kind of exposure. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely. As you look back at, before we let you go here, as you look back over your time, as you said, you spent your whole life around this place. What are some of the proudest moments for you?
Oh, I'd have to tell you, it's the family part of it. Is my grandparents obviously were very prominent around here, and my mother as well. And she passed in '05, and I started this job in 2014, and I can still hear her talking to me and kind of guiding me and lead me around. And so that's the proudest part of it for me, to be able to have this family situation here for me. That would be it.
Well, I'm excited to see what the next chapter brings here, and hopefully that will do her proud, and all the members and board members and everybody else
Oh
along
yeah,
the way here.
we're all excited.
Yeah, I want to say I've really enjoyed so far working with you, John, and appreciate all the work you put in to pave the way for us to then get in front of your board, and how gracious your board has been with me and patient with all of this stuff. And so we're excited about it, and I couldn't be working with a better bunch of people to make this thing happen, and I couldn't be working at a better venue.
We feel very good about it because of what the force, just the sheer force that you put forth, and along with Mike, your brother, it's really commendable. Thank you very much.
Mike is definitely a force.
Yes, he is.
He's more like a tornado, I think.
Yeah, we love
In
you
the,
both.
in the best possible way, that is.
He is. Brent is also on the board of Mike's 501c3, the advisory board of the Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing. Mike was smart to pull Brent in there. That way, if you get him on the board, then you don't have to pay him. You can just exploit it.
Oh, is that it?
There you go.
All good, all good. We enjoy the association, and I can't wait to get out there and see this thing live and in person here this November. It's going to be fabulous.
It really is.
Yes, sir. Well,
Can't wait to start staging shows on a regular basis, and we've got a lot of great plans to bringing in a lot of different people, not only in our label, but we've got Mary Minter, CMA of Texas, who I'm sure will bring some great talent up our way as well. And so you never know what we're going to be doing, but we're excited to have use of that hall and have that great sound system and lighting system in there. And not only that, but John's got that full bar, and they have the best drink prices in town, and John cooks the best barbecue and food there too. So just a great, once you get there, you don't have to go anywhere else. You can have your drinks and dinner and a night of music, fun, and dancing. So.
yes, sir. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much. And I tell you what, Kurt, Steve, you mentioned Kurt Ryle earlier. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves for the last Road Stories this past Monday, where we brought Clarksville Creative Sound artist Jaden Riley on there. We're going to have another one. We're every other Monday. So Monday, August 2nd, not this coming Monday, but the following, 8 p.m. Central. He's going to have another Kurt Ryle's Road Story. So I hope everybody will tune in for that, because that's always a fabulous time here. Always a good chance to connect with Kurt. And right now he's getting Steve some well-needed respite.
He is. He's been on a fast track. We went up the Smoky Mountains, and Kurt crashed for a while up there too. And we just, of course, we had a lot of meetings and business discussions. We went up there to write songs, and we came away with absolutely zero songs written. But I think when we really need them, I know Kurt is a wellspring of creativity, and no better guy to sit and write songs with than Kurt. But we came back, and then Jaden Riley came in town with her mother, Tara, and we sat down with Jaden, and we all collectively decided that we wanted to take Jaden more into the country genre, because she's been doing predominantly pretty much pop music and doing it very well. But the fastest growing segment of music right now by far is country music. And so Jaden, Kurt pulled out some songs that he had written and had in his treasure trove for a good while. And I think in 3 days, Jaden recorded 5 songs. I heard 2 of the 5, and I was blown away by watching her work. I mean, you talk about somebody that can get in the studio and get it done. She is pitch perfect. She's got the best control of any singer I've ever seen, especially at age 17. It's just amazing. And not only that, but she did some harmonies for Evie Mae's album too. So that's what's cool and of course she and Evie got on a FaceTime together, and they were excited to meet each other and support each other. And that's what we love about this label, that everybody lifts each other up, because we're all in this thing to support each other, and there's plenty to go around, and so we're just so lucky to have a guy like Kurt at the helm, both from the songwriting standpoint and of course the producing standpoint. Watching him work with Jaden is just an amazing thing. One of these days we're going to do a documentary just showing how Kurt works. I think it's really interesting.
I think it'd be phenomenal. And you're right, the emerging chemistry and camaraderie that is developing out of this label has been really fun to watch.
It has. I think we've created a lot of buzz, and now it's time to take it to the next level. And I guess the TV network guys agree that there's a lot to talk about. So hopefully we can get that show launched. We got to put together the pilot and then go from there. So we'll see what happens there. But we're excited about the possibilities.
Well, that's a cool thing, because you see, kind of behind the scenes in documentaries about individual artists, but you never really see anything about a label itself per se, and kind of the inner workings and how it all comes together. And I think that's a fascinating look at, kind of a facet of the business you don't see a whole lot of.
Yeah. And, so you see, we've all seen those documentaries or films about big name artists on tour, and typically you see them on a private jet or on a luxury tour bus or luxury hotel room, and then they leave the hotel room, go to the venue, step on stage and sing and play. Well, it's a little different for the independent artist, because the independent artist is usually his deal is he pulls up in his car, gets to the venue, and he's one of the guys schlepping equipment and unhooking and untangling cables and so the independent, so I think this show will be an interesting look inside of what it looks like to be an independent artist on your trajectory. And so we hope that 10, 20 years from now, you'll look back on these episodes and say, yeah, those were the stars of the future. And that's one of the things we want to put out there, just what it's like to be on the road as an independent artist and playing these different venues from small to large venues. But so we're excited about that.
Well, stay tuned on that, because there's going to be a lot more coming up here in the coming weeks and months on that. And I just hope everybody will get plugged in. As we say every week, if you have not already gotten plugged in, make sure you get plugged into the Fort Worth Musical Moments Facebook group, the Clarksville Creative Sound Facebook group, and the Rural Strong Media Facebook page, because a lot is going to be happening here in this back half of the year and into next year, as we continue to see all these opportunities come into focus here. So you're going to want to be plugged in here. We love, and Steve, I really love all of the, not only the feedback, but the banter that goes on these pages here. It's really developed a camaraderie among a lot of people who have play ancillary roles and all this stuff, and just fans as well.
Yeah, I'm seeing. I'm not seeing the full feed. I'm on one particular feed. I'm seeing our old faithful Kathy Adams, and
that's my one fan.
You're one fan. Okay, I figured there was a something going on there, and then
well, that's the one that birthed me. That's her connection.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Well, it is your biggest fan. Unconditional love there.
That's right.
Keith Phillips, who's a fellow artist and been around a long time, and we're proud to have him as a friend. A couple of Clarksville Creative Sound label members, Cherry LeMaster and Kevin Fullen, and then Peggy York, who faithfully tunes in on just about everything we do, and so we appreciate Peggy. But I'm sure I'm missing a lot of other people that I'm not seeing. I don't think the full feed. So yeah, we just announced our final roster, our not final, but our current roster officially of artists. And last week we talked about that, I believe. So we're really, really proud to have a great group of people that complement each other on that list.
Yeah, and to your point earlier, looking at the list of artists who are out there, man, oh man, Clarksville Creative Sound on just about every independent chart that's out there is dominating. You can just go down that list of top 20s and they're all over it.
Well, I think we're putting some great. I mean, I'll put our quality of our music. Kurt brings in the best musicians in the world for these sessions. It's like a dream team. I could tell you who some of these guys have worked for, and it would blow you away. But they come in that studio and they don't mess around. So it's just you've seen that process, Brent. You've been in that studio and you see how these guys work. So
it's phenomenal. It's all business, and they punch it out way quicker than I think anybody would imagine. We're not talking about days; it's more like hours to get all that stuff together, and then Kurt stirs in the special sauce and puts out just some phenomenal music here, and we're just going to keep beating the drum for it.
All right. Well, we're excited, and again, I want to thank Jon for joining us this morning. We're excited about how National Hall is going to play a big part in everything we're going to be doing. Fort Worth, Jon, is rapidly becoming the live music capital of the world for country music. A lot of people think Nashville is, but I think Fort Worth for good traditional country music. And the thing about people in Texas, maybe versus Tennessee, is people in Texas love to dance. And so you got one of the best dance floors in town. It's amazing. So it's just we couldn't ask for a more perfect venue.
Well, thank you. You say the best in town. I think it's the best in the country. I've been all over the country myself, and this dance floor is something. It's really it's a historic dance floor for one thing, but it works well. It really does a good job, and it's beautiful. And we're proud of our dance floor.
That's right. I mean, there's people who have scooted their boots to Bob Wills and Ernest Tubb, and come November, they're going to scoot it to Steve Marquardt and the A-List Band.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you got Drake Milligan on Saturday night. You got Jason Robertson and Texas Playboys. You got Robert Houston, our good friend Robert Houston and his Western Swing Rules Band. Can't wait to see them. Our friend Chuck Cusimano is going to open the thing up on Thursday. And then you got Billy Mata, who we had on our show a few weeks ago. Fabulous, gosh. I know I'm leaving a lot of people out here, but
you got Kelly Spinks and Miles of Texas, Jake Hooker and the Outsiders, Tommy Hooker. Oh man, so many great artists there. Floyd Domino, as you said, the Texas Playboys, Katie Shore. A lot to love about what's coming up here.
Katie Shore is the fiddle player for Asleep at the Wheel. She's fabulous. JD Barham. He's kind of like our A-List Band. He brings his horns with him, and he really swings it. Great guy. Gosh, and on and on and on. Jake Hooker, just fantastic. So yeah, it's just going to be 3 days of nonstop events. And Mike doesn't let any. He doesn't like to have any downtime. So he's got events planned in every nook and cranny of time. In fact, some of our patrons were like, wow, we tried to do everything on the itinerary for 3 days. They actually complained. They said we were so worn out at the end of the deal. I was like, well, you could skip a few things. You don't have to do everything, but they have that major, as my daughter calls it, FOMO, or fear of missing out.
Right? Yeah, every one of them so good. It's kind of hard to say now we're not going to do this one because we need some rest, because it's all phenomenal.
Well, one thing too, Jon, this, and Brent, I don't know how many of these Western Swing festivals you've been to, but these bands, when they go on, they play. They don't take a break.
Right.
No, they don't. It is amazing what happens those 3 days. And Jody Nix is right there with you on Thursday night.
Yes. we're honored to be right before Jody, and to be on the same bill with him, because he's been doing it a long time and he's royalty as far as Western swing is concerned. His dad being Hoyle Nix, who played with Bob Wills and wrote Big Balls in Cowtown, which is one of the unofficial theme songs of this whole event. But yes, and from the very first minute that the first band strikes a chord till the very last note on Saturday night, for 3 days, that dance floor stays full, doesn't it?
It does. It is truly an amazing event, and we can't wait to get there every year.
Yeah.
So again, a handful of tickets left. If you haven't got them, make sure you go get those. And if you got them, we can't wait to see you in Fort Worth, Texas at National Hall for the Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing Festival. And I want to make sure we invite everybody to check out Rural Strong Radio, which is our 24/7 streaming radio station found at ruralstrongmedia.com or on the Live 365 streaming radio app. It plays the best in traditional country music, your Western swing, little bluegrass, little Southern rock, and some inspirational as well. And we'd love for you to check it out. Again, that's ruralstrongmedia.com or on the Live 365 radio app. We'd also love for you to check out Tractors and Troubadours, which is my weekly show. We've got it in podcast form. It's also a national radio show, but the podcast available at ruralstrongmedia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And we the Troubadours part, we play a lot of music as highlights, different artists each week. And this week we have got who's on there this week? We've got I set myself up for that one. Who's on there this week? I'll have to come back to that. We play a lot of Clarksville Creative Sound artists is who we play here. A lot of times, but not necessarily Clarksville Creative Sound artists. And I'll have to go back and look as I'm yapping here to tell you who we've got on this week. Richard Lynch is who's on there this week. The great artist out of Waynesville, Ohio, singer-songwriter, and also a farmer, and all-around great guy. So make sure you go check that out. And we have had quite a few Clarksville artists on here in the past few weeks. So go dig into the archives on that and check that out. And also to remind everybody here on Rural Strong Radio on Sundays at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, it is our friend Robbie Lynn with Sundays Kind of Country, 3 hours of great inspirational music to kind of get your week started. Then we head on in to Billy Bowles Swinging Country at noon, coming out of KSSL in Lubbock, Texas. Billy's got 2 hours of great Western swing and traditional country music. I know he's on here. I've seen him commenting today on the comments, and we couldn't be more thrilled to be one of the stations that carries that programming. So make sure you go check it out.
Billy's one of the best friends that we independent artists have. He's so supportive, always plays a lot of my music and fellow artists' music, and he's always puts a lot of thought. Those shows just don't come together, He puts a lot of thought in and has a theme for every show, and they're very, very entertaining shows, and so that's a highlight of Saturday.
Absolutely. And another member of the Cowtown Birthplace of Western Swing board, and also will be one of the MCs of the event here. So you get to see, that's the added bonus. You get to see Billy if you come to Fort Worth here for the festival in November.
Yeah, and then in October, you got the CMA of Texas Awards show down in Houston at Do-Si Do's. I don't know that exact date, but next time we do this, I'll have those dates for you, because that's coming up fairly quickly. And our good friend Mary Bender, who's a huge support, kind of a partner of ours as well. So that's always a great thing. She does many great things to promote independent artists such as yours truly.
October 18th is going to be that awards show at the Do-Si Do Big Barn in the Woodlands, Texas, just outside of Houston there. So make sure you go and check that out. CMAoftexas.com. You can find out more information about that. That's creeping up on us pretty quickly too.
Yes, it is. It is. And it's always a fun deal. You want to see a lot of different musicians and artists, and very entertaining deal. She stages a great show. So I think you're going to be a part of that, Brent.
I will be. I'll be up on the stage doing some emceeing work, and also receiving an award that night. But I think back to last year, one of the most special moments there. You mentioned Lucy Dean Record earlier. Her getting up on stage last year was phenomenal, and also our friend the late Claude Gray receiving an award with Bobby Mackey was also pretty awesome.
It's awesome and very timely. So, yeah, that was a neat deal to witness. Well, why don't we let Jon go about his business? I know, Jon, you got a lot of stuff going on behind you, and Jon, again, we appreciate you taking the time to come on with us, and I'm sure we'll be revisiting National Hall very regularly as we gear this thing up.
I really appreciate y'all having me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who watched. Again, tune in next week at 10 a.m. Central for another Fort Worth Musical Moments. Until then, keep riding tall in the saddle and make it a great week. We'll see you next week, everybody. You've been watching Fort Worth Musical Moments, a production of Rural Strong Media and Clarksville Creative Sound, copyright 2023. Please join the Fort Worth Musical Moments Facebook group and join us each Friday at 10 a.m. Central as we introduce you to another key figure in Fort Worth's musical heritage.